Topic: Energy. At the end of the lesson, the learners should understand the following concepts: battery, ignition coil, distributor, spark plug, ignition timing. Learning content covered in grades 8 and 9 agricultural studies must link in with the current content that will now be covered. Basic 12-volt DC electrical energy. The purpose of this lesson is to expose the learner to the battery/accumulator of a motor vehicle. Concepts and skills. Battery/accumulator. Basic safety. Vehicles contain lead-acid batteries with sulfuric acid as electrolyte. The acid is highly corrosive and can burn your skin, but this is not the case if the battery contains a type of gel. Sealed batteries retain the fluid. Battery has removable plugs at the top. Do not turn batteries upside down. Batteries can explode. During the charging process, hydrogen gas is emitted and is highly flammable. Do not smoke near battery, also do not bring any open flames nearby. Frozen batteries are removed and placed in a warm room before charging. Always wear safety goggles. Battery that exploded. Safe jump start. Shock hazards. Batteries produce only 12 volts, so there is no danger of being shocked. However, the battery can generate hundreds of amperes, so never place a metal object such as a wrench between the positive and negative battery terminals to see if the battery will spark. This will also produce a current similar to a welding arc that could damage the instrument or the battery and/or cause the battery to explode. Warning: on hybrid electric vehicles like the Toyota Prius, Lexus RX 400h, Honda Insight, Ford Escape Hybrid, etc. The hybrid battery pack in the back of the vehicle is a high voltage, 300 plus volts. Battery 300 plus volts is enough to shock or kill you, so never work on the hybrid electrical system of the vehicles without first turning off or disconnecting the high voltage battery as per vehicle manufacturer's instructions. This should be done with insulated tools and gloves. The high voltage wiring is usually colored orange. Safe battery jump start procedure. If a battery is dead/or too weak to turn the engine on, you can jump start it. Jump start using some long jump cables by connecting the dead battery to a good battery in another vehicle. Pull the other vehicle as close as possible to the one with the dead battery, but do not allow the vehicles to touch each other. Open the bonnet on both vehicles, and shut off the engine of the other vehicle. Jumper/jump cables are color-coded, red for positive plus symbol and black for negative minus symbol. Do not replace the cables or allow the metal ends to touch, as this may damage the battery, charging system ends/or electronic components on a vehicle. Connect one end of the red jump cable to the positive plus symbol terminal on the dead battery. The positive battery terminal will be slightly larger than the negative terminal, and will be marked with a plus symbol sign. There may also be a red plastic protective cover over the positive battery terminal. Connect the other end of the red jump cable to the positive plus symbol terminal on the good battery. Connect one end of the black jump cable to the negative minus symbol terminal on the good battery. Connect the other end of the black jump cable to a sturdy metal ground tip on the engine or frame of the vehicle with the dead battery. Do not connect the final jump cable to the negative or minus symbol point of the battery itself, as it will normally spark and the hydrogen fumes in the dead battery may ignite and cause an explosion. Note: on some vehicles the battery is not easily accessible, because it is located in a mudguard, panel, trunk, under a seat etc., so there may be special jump start connections in the engine compartment for the jump start of the vehicle. Warning: do not lean directly over the battery while making jump start couplings, in case of an explosion. Start the vehicle with a good battery, and let the engine run for a few minutes at a fast idle speed, 1200 to 1500 RPM. This will help charge the low battery so that the engine can be turned on more easily. Now you can turn on the vehicle with the dead battery. If the engine is not turning or turning slowly, the jump connections can be wound to make sure they make good contact. Then try again. The engine will start if there are No other problems, such as a defective starter motor or ignition circuit problems. Once the engine is turned on/off, both jump start cables must be disconnected. Do not allow the metal ends of the jumper cables to touch each other or the red cables to come into contact with metal on the motor at all. Keep the engine running for 20 to 30 minutes, or drive the vehicle to recharge the battery. Do not use the lights, heater, AC, air conditioner, and other electrical accessories during this time so that all the power from the charging system can flow to the battery to recharge it. Note, if the engine dies shortly after jump start, or as soon as the jumper cables are disconnected, it probably means the charging system is not working, bad alternator, voltage regulator, wiring problem, or loose/dirty battery cables. If the vehicle is running and the battery is charging properly, you must clean the battery cables and tie both battery connecting cables after shutting down the engine. The battery and charging system should also be tested to make sure both are working properly. Precaution cells when battery needs to be repaired. It is usually a good idea to disconnect the battery before doing electrical repairs. Disconnect the negative battery cable from the battery. This will prevent accidental damage to electronic equipment when wiring is accidentally shorted. Warning: never disconnect the battery when the starter is connected, or while the engine is idling or running. Doing so can damage electrical and electronic components. Warning: disconnecting the battery on some late model vehicles can cause handling or other problems. When the battery is disconnected, power to the PCM and other onboard modules is lost. This can cause a loss of keep on living memory settings. In effect, reset the PCM back to its basic settings, so that the engine cannot run properly until the PCM adjustment memory can reactivate these settings. The same goes for the transmission system. It cannot move properly, or does not feel the same, until the PCM or TCM has time to reset the shift adjustments. It can take 10 to 50 kilometers of driving to recover. Disconnecting the battery can also cause module system to forget their learned or programmed settings. It includes modules that control the air conditioner, sunroof, electric windows, power seats, radio, even some anti-theft or keyless entry systems. Some of these modules may not work properly when the battery is reconnected, or it may be in standby mode until a special scan reset procedure is performed, which requires a trip to the car dealer for repairs. So consult your owner's manual for any precautionary measures to disconnect the battery before removing the cable. If you are unsure whether disconnecting the battery on your car can cause problems, connect a friend's battery charger or memory device to the battery cables or the 12-volt power outlet or cigarette lighter before disconnecting the main battery. Never exchange battery polarity. It can damage the battery, charging system, electrical components, or onboard electronics. Except for a few antique vehicles, all modern vehicles have a negative ground. The negative battery terminal is marked with a minus sign, minus symbol, while the positive battery terminal is marked with a plus symbol sign. Finally, when installing a new battery, make sure that the battery is fully charged before driving the vehicle. This will reduce the pressure on the loading system. Activity/assessment. Teacher must work out activities on the given content and provide them to the learners. Consolidation. The lesson covered all the content as required by the CAPS. The learners understand all the concepts and content.
Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more future educational videos.